Hi, I have a question for you. When is the last time you saw a child truly, completely happy, building, pretending, making a mess and laughing? That is not an accident. And yet, one of the greatest questions I get to ask by well-meaning parents and caregivers is saying, I don't want that child to play. I want them to learn. And usually that always intrigues me because I know how play is so important to a child. Hi, my name is Margaret Cheroge, and I have been an early childhood educator and coach for many, many years. And this is one of the best things that could happen to a child when they are allowed the freedom to play. It is the child's lifeline, literally. So why is it so important? My experience of 2 decades being with children. Play is what a child does just because they want to, not because they are pressured, asked to reward, not because of anything. It's just because they want to. It is the propensity to have fun. It is really joy driven, it is curiosity driven, it is exploration driven. It is, let me try this and see what happens. That is what drives them. Children don't need permission to play at all. They don't. Why? Because they have that intuitive propensity to want to discover things. They just appeared here and therefore they don't know how things work. So the only way to discover is to play. Right there should tell us something. Exploring is messy. Messy hands means they touched something. Messy clothes means they tried something. Messy hair means they were fully engaged. Listen, play is not a break from learning. Play is learning itself. I have tried everything to engage children through those flashcards. I have tried the ABC memorizing. The only way I have gotten traction and learning going on is through play. So what do children gain through play? Imagination and creativity. One of my favorite TED Talks, Ken Robinson, when he talked about a child who was asked by the teacher to draw. And the child was asked by the teacher what they were drawing. The child said, I'm drawing God. And the teacher said, nobody has ever seen God. The child said, they will know now. That is how children are creative, and they will draw and then give the stories about those things that you call the scribbles. They have a story behind that. That is real life, and that is how they learn. They become parents, they become doctors, they become teachers, they become builders, they become astronauts, they become anything that is reflective of what is going on in the world. That is what they do. That pretending, it is not pretending, it is problem-solving skills in disguise. That imagination is the foundation of creativity. It needs to be nurtured at all costs. Next is one which matters most, social-emotional development. Children are not meant to play alone at all. They naturally seek others, and when they play together, so much happens. And this is one of my favorites when I'm observing children when they are playing. They learn to wait. They learn to take turns. They learn to hear a no. They learn to say no, and their no means no. They learn to join a group. They learn to leave a group. They learn to negotiate. They learn how to regulate and calm their own bodies. They experience frustration, and they learn how to handle those frustrations because guess what? They want to keep friends, right? This is where confidence is built. Resilience is nurtured here, not through worksheets. The child can be, yes, cognitively there, but if they're not social-emotionally there, honestly, they will struggle. And we have seen that with so many behavioral problems, or children not able to connect with each other. From real interactions in the real world, that is where children are learning how to belong to a group, how to belong into a space, how to belong to a classroom. And here is something powerful. Hear me. Play is deeply connected with the language development, where the child is able to communicate their needs, to ask, to receive. We know children know ABCs. We know they recite those ABC songs, but they don't know those letters. But through play, they talk, They listen, they exchange, they explain, they argue, they agree, they disagree, they pick up new words naturally, they learn how to express their own needs and ideas to their own friends, and they do not feel the threat of second guessing. It just comes naturally and intuitively. That is what play does. Unstructured, initiate by themselves, it is one of the most beautiful things that can happen to the child. And I think the reason why we despise play is because we do not see the results there and then. But if you pack up your patience and just wait it out, you will know that the child, one day at a time, one word at a time, one development at a time, the children start picking up. Why? Because they feel safe to engage. They know they are not judged. They know they are accepted into that space. They feel that they belong to that space. I have dealt with children who will be crying because they miss their mommy and they're not saying. But a friend will go, is like, why are you crying? And they will say, I miss my mommy. And you can see a full-blown conversation going on because they feel safe. Why? They socialized. Now let's talk about the sensory learning. Because you're so mindful, and I know this is why you don't want your child to play, but I'll tell you something. If you want your child to retain the information that you're trying to teach them, sensory learning is the best way to go. Why? Because the child learned through experiencing the learning itself. Your child learned through senses, touching, hearing, smelling, seeing, and tasting. That is one of the greatest ways that the children learn, and they retain the information which they are learning. So engage them in activities which will have them use senses. They will remember everything because it no longer now becomes passive learning through the mind. A child uses many senses. The brain works harder to retain that information. And guess what? This is how understanding forms. This is how learning sticks. And here's the bonus. Sensory play helps children focus more. Yeah? They are able to regulate themselves more because why? They have the propensity to want to experience what they are learning. I know most of the time the resentment of our children playing is because of their kindergarten preparedness. These are the good news. Children are born mathematicians. They are born scientists. They count, they measure, they compare, they notice sizes, they figure out quantities, they have the cause and effect. And when children are making all those things, they are imagining things, they are sizing things up to fit the narrative they have had. They don't need flashcards at all. They don't. They need experiences. Make it real and you'll notice the difference. I know most of you are so tired of the questions that you get from children. Why does this work this way? Why does the water go this way? Why can't we do this? Why does it go this? I mean, so many questions. They observe, they predict, they test, and they watch what happens. They see the results and then they repeat again. That is science. That is experimenting with real life stuff. All those scientific terms that we use, it comes later. But guess what? Those are building blocks. It will make sense when things will become a little bit more abstract. Right now, they need concrete everything, whatever they can see, whatever they can feel, whatever they can taste, whatever they can hear. So allow them to run. I know this is one of the basic things that most people see, and that is why they don't want their children to play. And it's a physical development when they are climbing, when they are running, when they are digging, when they are scooping, when they are balancing. But I will tell you, it is more than just movement. It is children learning the body awareness, how to coordinate the strength, how to self-control, how to be aware of their body in space, and how to give each other space. These are life skills. This is what I will leave you with. When you're thinking about play, and when you say you don't want your child to play, children are not built to sit still at all. In fact, their attention span is so small that they have to keep on moving. So the best thing you can do to save yourself the agony of really controlling and managing that child is to allow the open-ended play with structure. Structure meaning that you're giving them the parameters so that they can experience the world. and you will see the change that will happen. I have been with the children for so many years, and I know this works. I never taught children how to write their names, and I knew at the end of the year, every single year, they would know how to write their names. They would know so many things of the kindergarten preparedness to go to kindergarten. Let me know what you think by commenting below. See you in the next video.